Hey everyone, it's Lori from Scraps by Sissy. Long time no see, huh? Holy cow. Let's see, I think the last time I did a live was at the beginning of the month. Got my sister all in her new house. Uh-oh, hang on, I gotta mute my video. See, I'm out of practice already. Anyway, got my sister in her house and kind of got her settled. Had our stamp club last week, and those three little doggies are back at the house. My sister had to run back down to Vegas for a couple of days, so we're back at it with the troops. Oh, that's okay. They've been doing really well. So since I've been gone for a while, I thought maybe we'd do a little mini class. It's the last couple of days of celebration, and it's really kind of sad. I haven't used any of this Oh So Ombre paper at all this whole celebration time. My bad. After I got started with it yesterday, it's like, what were you thinking not using this paper? It's so pretty. I'll show you the colors on it. I can pull them all out here. So it comes in, this is Blackberry Bliss with Granny Apple Green on the back. And it has two different patterns, the polka dots and this plain ombre. Rococo Rose that has Bermuda Bay on the back. And I think that's it, isn't it? I think it's the Blackberry Bliss, Rococo Rose. Yeah, it's just the 4 colors. So, and then you get, how many sheets are in this? 48 sheets. So you got a lot to play with. I just love that Bermuda Bay. Isn't that pretty? Which is why we're going to use, well, we're actually going to use, I think, 3 of the colors today. Let's set this aside. So, this is card 1 we're going to make. This is card 2 we're going to make. And card 3 we're going to make. And I will tell you, I still have to finish my blog post. It's almost done with all the links. I'll have all the measurements for all 3 cards. And if you shop today using this host code, and you place a $35 order or more, I'll send you the card kits to make these 3 cards, including the envelopes. So, good morning, Claudia. How are you? Major snow day, huh? It's supposed to be almost 70 here today. Our temperatures are kind of going up and down because we've had some wind, but I'll take it. So let's get started with our measurements. So the first card we're going to do, this one here, the measurements are, the card base is an early espresso. It's cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. This little piece of basic white is cut at 2 1/4 by 5 1/2. The designer series paper is 2 inches by 5 1/2, and then I have a little 1/2 inch strip on the inside, and then the basic white on the inside is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Card number 2 is in basic black. It's cut at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. The designer series paper, the Oh So Ombre, is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and the flower and field is 2 inches by 5 1/4. And then the inside layer, basic white, is 3 3/4 by 5. And I've just stamped this envelope, although I have another piece of this to cover the envelope flap when we get to that card. Then card number 3 is got a Rococo Rose base, card base at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. The basic white layer here is 4 inches by 5 1/4. The designer series paper is 3 3/4 by 5, and the inside basic white is 3 3/4 by 5. And of course I covered the flap. Now I will tell you, the Rococo Rose is one of the retiring in colors, so if this is something you have and you need your re-inker, or you need more cardstock or the ribbon, get it now. The retiring list is going to be announced, I think, sometime next month, and when that happens, the re-inkers tend to fly off the shelves. So you've got Rococo Rose, Pretty Peacock, Terracotta Tile, Purple Posy, and And what's the fifth one? Help me out here. What's the fifth? Rococo Rose, Pretty Peacock, Terracotta Tile, Purple Posy, and whatever the fifth one is, it's going to be retiring at the end of this catalog period. Isn't that sad? That's just signs of a busy mind. Anyway, let's get started on our cards today. These are just sweet and simple, so they should go fairly quickly. I don't know, though. I'm a little out of practice with this, so I'll probably be a hot mess as normal. We'll see. Okay, so I've got everything already prepped here. The ribbon I'm using is that faux suede in Early Espresso. It's out of the annual catalog. And the die cut that I have for the layer on top, the sentiment layer, is from the Hippo and Friends. I love the little labels in that, although I haven't done anything with that stamp set yet. I guess I better do that. So let's go ahead and take care of our envelope first. And I just love decorating our envelopes with the paper. It just makes such a clean and put together project, I think. Then again, that's just my personal opinion. And if you've got the extra paper to use, especially when it's free like this one, why not use it? So just lay this guy right here on the edge. And we'll trim the edges. Does anybody know what that fifth color is for the end colors? I'm really drawing a blank here. So we have Pretty Peacock, Terracotta Tile, Rococo Rose, Purple Posy, and what? I can't even think what it is. Isn't that sad? Oh, poor Lori. We'll see if we come up with it here shortly. Okay, so there's the envelope. That's set and done. So these guys are just going to get glued together. And see, this is going to be, like I said, a really quick and easy card. We're going to glue him onto the basic white, like that. And then we're going to do the cheater method for the ribbon. And not only does it help your ribbon go a long way, but it makes things a little bit flatter in the envelope. So I've run my Stampin' Seal on both sides. And we're just going to lay the piece of ribbon right in onto that Stampin' Seal and secure it, trim it. We'll add this to the card front like so. We're also going to add it to the inside layer. Now I didn't stamp a sentiment on the inside layer only because I don't know what this thank you card's going to be for. And that will determine what my sentiment, or if I put a sentiment on it, is going to be. So, also makes it real quick and easy. Just have them on hand, and then when you need to send a quick card, you just fill out the inside. Okay, so now we're going to do our stamping. I got we're actually using all celebration stamps. We're going to use A Touch of Ink, Heal Your Heart, and Approaching Perfection. Do you see a theme going on here since celebration's over in just a couple of days? Kind of showcasing everything. No, Highland Heather isn't it. Highland Heather is one of the core colors. So if I had my catalog sitting here, I would pull it out and let you know what it is. But that isn't the case at the moment. So we'll get it. So I'm using the Thank You from, I got my little bag here with all of our stuff in it. And we'll pull out our Early Espresso and stamp our sentiment. Let's put all these stamp sets away since we already know what we're using. Seaside Spray. That's it, Beth. Thank you. I should have remembered that, being that it is a blue color and blue is my favorite. Seaside Spray. How could I forget that one? That's embarrassing. Thank you, Beth, for letting me know what that was. Although as soon as I got off, I would have remembered. Okay, so you only have the one stamped image on this card. Seaside Spray. How could you forget that, Lori? That's embarrassing. Busy, busy mind. You put 4 Pomeranians in a house and anyone's bound to lose their mind. Although they were really good when they got back here yesterday. They've only been gone, what, 4 days? So it was a quick transition for them. Okay, so we're going to set that right there. We're going to bring this little guy underneath this strip of ribbon. And then we're going to tie our little knot. Now when you tuck it under, grab that piece and twist it around, and it makes for a flatter knot, which helps when you go to mail this. And you'll trim that little guy. Trim this little guy. Get rid of the little legs. Move that out of the way. And I'm going to use some of the Artistry Bloom sequins for our bling. So we're going to pick off one. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. I love this guy. So we're going to use the bigger ones for the bottom here, and I'm just going to set them right over those little circles, just like so. And we'll use the little ones. Oops, got a dog hair. Use that one there, and this one here. And card number 1 is done. Told you it was quick and simple. Sweet and simple, quick and simple, same thing. So there's card number 1. Isn't that pretty? I just love those colors together. Even Larry liked the card. So we'll move on to card number 2. And I have to be honest, when I was, cruising around Pinterest land, was it yesterday, day before yesterday, I saw somebody had used these as a combination, the Flower and Field and the Oso Ombre. I fell in love with it and had to do it. So I know I stamped the envelope, but I just like the paper better, so we're going to go with that on our envelope real quick. Because after all, I've got the paper, let's use it. Okay, I'll just add some there to that envelope. And get this eye up to the top as much as possible. Had to get my book. See now, Beth, if I'd had my book here, I could have looked it up too. But I didn't want to do any walkaways. We're trying to be good at this, and I'm kind of out of practice. And we didn't want Lori to be any more of a hot mess than she already is, right? So we'll go ahead and cut this off. So I like that envelope better than this envelope. But you could do it either way, depending upon how much paper you had. So for the inside, we'll stamp that first. Since I'm going to be stamping off, let's use our piece of grid paper. And I'm going to be using Granny Apple Green for the leaves. And let's see, Tuxedo Black, the Memento, for our sentiments. There we go. Let's get these guys out of the way. Clean up my mess. I'm already, it doesn't matter how big your desk is. You always end up using this little bitty space. You know what I mean? Welcome to my world of a hot mess, right? Jeez. Okay, so you're going to ink this guy in Granny Apple Green. I'm going to stamp off, get my Pierce mat, and we'll just swing this guy over the Pierce mat and stamp him right here in the corner. Okay, that's all we need that guy for. Put him aside, and we'll stamp the sentiment, which is thinking of you. And I kept everything at the bottom for a different look. Now, you could stamp up at the top if you wanted, but I just liked the way this looked. It just kind of fit right in there. And then you could definitely sign whatever you wanted around the top. Sign just your name, not sign anything. Whatever fits your fancy. Oh, we forgot to fold the card base over. Okay. I'm going to lay him on the inside. Oops, we're going to have a crash here in a second. Just lay this guy in here like so. Now, we will add our paper to the front. And I want this just over to the side, somewhat like the first one. And then we're going to stamp our hello friend. And I kept the lightest part of the ombre towards the bottom of the card so that my little hello friend could get in there. We'll glue him on. We're done with the black for the moment. And then glue him down. Isn't that pretty together with those daisies? We just used the daisy paper at our team meeting on Saturday. Now I'm going to add more ink. I don't want this to come crashing down on you all. I'm going to add a daisy. And my paper's right here. And I'm using the medium-sized daisy punch. We're going to punch out 2 of the white ones. See, as you can tell, I've been making a lot of daisies lately. It's part of our scrap club this weekend too. And I'm going to glue those together with mini glue dots. Just going to set that down. He did. And I'm going to off-center the leaves. Now the 1/2 inch circle is retired, but I'm still going to use it. And then add him with another mini glue dot. Add him to the front. And then we will attach him to the card front with a dimensional. And of course, don't forget the bling. You definitely could use some more of the sequins on there, but I wanted to use my very favorite rhinestones. So we're going to put one up here, one down here, and one little bitty one here down at the bottom. And card number 2 is done. Look how quick this is going. And let me know what you like best, the paper covered envelope or the stamped image. You don't happen to have, okay, we'll set these aside and we'll go on with our 3rd card. And this is using the Rococo Rose and the approaching, hang on just a second, approaching perfection. Those little candles. And that little balloon and happy birthday. So when I chose the Rococo Rose, I wanted to use some of the retiring ribbon because I do have quite a bit hanging on the wall. So since the linen thread, the scallop linen thread has a crumb cake look to it, I knew I wanted to use crumb cake ink. So this is going to be retiring too. So if that's on your list, you might want to get it. Let's see, I think I dropped a piece of paper. Nope. Okay, so this is for our envelope. And if you have a piece that just doesn't quite cover that envelope, you can trim that little piece of envelope off. It's still going to work just fine. As you've got enough of the glue on the envelope flap to cover it. I'll set that down here like so and trim our envelope. And it doesn't matter if you trim the corner off your envelope either. We'll round that off when we get back over to that side. So it'll just come across here just to fix that. And I think my fussy cutting needs a little bit of practice. What do you think? Okay, nobody's the wiser. And that envelope is done. Okay, So make sure I get the right pieces together. Okay, this is the inside. We're going to glue these guys down. And yeah, Beth, I have to agree. It depends on how much designer series paper you have. If you have quite a bit, that's the perfect time to use some of it up. If you're hoarding your paper, then you're definitely going to be stamping on your envelopes. And I do have that kind of paper that I'm going to hoard. Like that strawberry paper, right? Okay, so the cheater method here works really good with this ribbon because this ribbon tends to be a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to lay this down there. We'll come in and we'll finish adding some adhesive. And add it to the front of the card. Just like so. And the white just kind of breaks up some of that rococo rose. So now we're going to stamp the sentiment in crumb cake ink. And I did re-ink these yesterday. Make sure that's on there. Looks good to me. And I love the sentiment. The bad news is I forgot your birthday. The good news is I forgot your age. Isn't that cute? And then we'll come over here and we'll stamp the candles in rococo rose. Cute. And then, well, let's cover this up so I don't put my fingers in it. We'll add more dimensionals. Where would my life be without dimensionals and rhinestones, right? Like so. And then I don't want to put any here because it's going to straddle that ribbon. I want to keep it as smooth to the paper as possible. Okay, so we'll come over here. We'll set him, ooh, that doesn't look very straight, does it? There we go. I'll set that up there like this. I'll cut another little piece of the linen thread to make our knot. And that way, by doing it this way too, you can control right where the knot goes so that if your sentiment layer is bigger, you can adjust it accordingly. Okay, and then by twisting that when I made that knot, it makes sure both sides have the scallop ribbon. We'll cut this to make it look more like a faux bow. There. Now we'll add some more of those sequins. Those pink ones are perfect on here. Here's a set right here. I think this is like my 4th or 5th package of these. I'm looking for my take your pick tool. It's sitting here somewhere. Oh well, we'll just use fingers. Anyway, I've used this a lot. It just gives you the nicest bling. We're going to put one right over here. And we'll put another one down here. There. Okay, so let's finish our inside layer. And the sentiment will be in crumb cake. And I'm going to stamp him right there. And then I'm going to stamp the balloon. Now this is a skinny stamp, so you want to be careful when you stamp this. You want to go straight down and straight up. Whoops. So you don't get the halo effect like I just did there. Let's try that again. All right, straight down, straight up. See, much better. So now we can come back in and stamp the sentiment again. Nobody's the wiser that the back side has a mistake on it. And we're going to color that balloon with our Stampin' Blends in Rococo Rose. Let's use this so we don't get the table dirty or bleed through onto the table. So I'm just going to come through and put in just a little bit of the dark. And then I'm going to come through just try and pull in that dark. Just like so. Oh, with a little tag. And you know what? That's it. We are done with 3 sweet and simple cards, including mess ups. Not too bad for being gone for a little while, huh? So what do you think? Pretty cute little class, huh? Let's pull all these out here. Clean up a little bit. What a mess. Okay, so there's card number 3. Card number 2. I definitely like the paper better than the stamped image on the envelope. And card number 1, sitting up here in the corner. All right. I thank you for spending time with me today. Again, if you go to my blog post here in just a few minutes, I'll have all the measurements for all 3 cards, links to my online store. If you place a $35 order or more today using this host code, I'll give you the project packet to create these 3 cards, including envelopes. I hope you have a great Thursday, and I will catch you later. Bye.